Hey everybody, Mel Bell here. I wanted to talk to you about psychic hygiene. Basically how to keep your energetic body cleansed and protected, and put a shield of protection around yourself on a regular basis. So just like taking a shower every day, you do want to do techniques to keep yourself protected in a spiritual way, and sometimes they go hand in hand. So by doing spiritual protection on yourself, you are physically protecting yourself. So I wrote a lot of notes on this one because there's so many different ways to do this. I do suggest that if this is a topic that interests you and you have a lot of questions about, getting some paper and a pen to write down some thoughts and some tips that I give. So to start with, let's talk about grounding. So psychic hygiene, basically, if you think about when you go outside and you go to work and you're around all these people, you're around all these emotions, you're around all of these stresses, that comes off as energy. So when you're walking outside and you're sitting around people and you're on the bus or on the train, in traffic, you are exposed to all of this energy. When there is a very, very tense situation that's happening in the news, you are open to all of that worry energy around you, all the chaotic energy, the angry energy, the fearful energy. You are exposed every day to negativity and fearful energy, and angry energy. And so it is important, especially as a spiritual person, if you are opening yourself up to the positivity and spirituality and opening yourself up to that world, it is of utmost importance to protect yourself, so that because you are also opening yourself up to the rest of the energy in the world. There's no way to do half and half. So you do need to protect yourself. You do need to practice some psychic hygiene. Just like when you take a shower to cleanse your body, you want to cleanse your aura. And you can do that in the shower. You can visualize as you're cleaning yourself that you are also cleaning your aura. You can visualize yourself being cloaked in a bright white light. You can also think of a dark blue light. Dark blue is very protective. There's also a rainbow aura that you can take on, which will basically is carrying all the colors with you. And so there's protection energy, there's love energy. Sometimes we shield too forcefully, and so our shield is so aggressive that it can shut us off from other people. So that's another thing to think about. Now, if you normally take a walk home and it is not so safe an area, and let's say you park your car in a garage that you're not so sure about, you always worry a little bit when you go to your car. Those are the times that you want to use a nice aggressive protective shield, something hardcore. But if you're just going into every day and you're not working with anybody who has it out for you, and there's not a lot of toxic people, you want to be open and loving, and you want to share energy, and you want to know how somebody is feeling. You want to know how they're doing. A lot of us are empathic, and so we pick up on the energy of other people, and sometimes our shielding can be so strong that we won't feel it all. I know that there are empaths out there that will be like, good, I don't want to feel none of it because this is bonkers. Like, if you're walking around not shielded and you are an empath, things can be really difficult in life because you don't know if you're feeling your own energy or if it's someone else's energy. You have outbursts, you don't know where it came from. Why did I just get angry? So it is important to do shielding if you're sensitive to the energies around you and energies from people. That being said, going to grounding. So with grounding, you basically, one there's a number of techniques for grounding. The one that I like, and you see the tree behind me, you focus on yourself and you imagine that your feet go into the earth. There's roots of a tree coming out of your feet. Just picture yourself as being a tree, and those roots go deep, deep into the earth, and that gets you good and grounded. Another way is to imagine the length of your spine, that whole part of your spine that goes out to your tailbone. Imagine that there being a tube there. And when you are grounding, you're thinking of all the darkness, negative energy that you may have picked up. Maybe you're having a really hard time and you are very angry at somebody. You can picture that energy as a black ball and you drop it down the tube. And that tube goes all the way down into the core of the earth. And the core of the earth, as you know, is molten lava. And you see that black ball drop into that molten lava and you see it burn up, just like you would see metal burn into a fire and it would turn white hot. That's how you see that energy, and then you call it back up to yourself. Now, not everybody is great at visualizing, and you don't have to be. If you are thinking of the process, you can do it based on feeling. So you can feel it going, the black ball going down your spine, and you can feel it like splash into the molten lava, and you can feel it get bright white. You can call it up to you, and when you effectively do it, most times you will feel a little bit of a rush or an uplifting feeling, and that'll tell you that you've pulled it up correctly. Sometimes energy that you send down doesn't come back up, and maybe because that energy shouldn't come back to you, maybe it needs to stay with the earth. Don't judge it. Just try to do your best to visualize that or to feel that. So again, we're not all visual people. We're not all good at visualizing, and that's okay. We all have different ways to react and interact with energy, and different things work for different people, and that's okay. So with grounding, that's that. And let's see, chakra clearing. So chakra clearing, basically you want to keep your energy centers healthy. So chakras go straight down the middle of your body, and each chakra has a different purpose, and when working all together harmoniously, you are at your best. You're at 100%. Your body is working very well, just like a machine would work very well if all the parts were oiled and cleaned. So just think of it that way. This energetic body is just like a bio machine, and so there's upkeep, there's maintenance, there's things you have to do to keep that clear. And then you're working at your best. So when you're feeling like you can't focus and you feel you can't get your thoughts out and you're confused, you're just having a day where nothing is clicking for you, you might need a chakra clearing. You might need an aura cleansing. That's why if you incorporate psychic hygiene, you'll have less of those days. So everybody has hard days. Everybody has challenging days, but you can carry the energy needed to deal with those days. But if you're if you're clogged up already, it's going to be even more difficult for you. Whereas if you are maintaining your energy field and making sure that you are clear as possible, then you might have positive solutions to the problems you're facing that you may not have had if you were all clogged up. So I just think of it as just like a cold, I feel all clogged up, my chakras are all jacked up. that's just how I feel about it. And so there are ways, and I've already spoken about this in an earlier video, but there are ways to cleanse your chakras that are very easy. Now on YouTube, there is, I'll tell you my two favorite my two favorite channels. First and number one is Temple Sounds. Temple Sounds is a YouTube channel that is shows Tibetan singing bowls, and they have chakra clearings. They have a short chakra clearing that will do all of your chakras at once, and the singing bowls are all tuned to different frequencies that connect to different chakras, and that's how it is clearing you out. And then there are hyper-focused ones that are just for a certain chakra, or a combination of chakras that work together in a certain way. And then there's Raising Vibration, which is another channel. They focus more on crystal singing bowls, which are a different sound, different energy. I would not say that one is better than the other. I would say the Tibetan singing bowls are very grounding, and the crystal bowls are more etheric. Like the energy's more up here than it is getting you grounded. It still clears your chakras because the tones will clear the chakras, but it's from a different place. I would say check it out and see how you feel about it, and see what vibrates with you. I bounce back and forth, and you know, I have my own singing bowl, which I do use around the house to clear the energy. Also, salt baths. So a salt bath basically is taking a hot bath, putting Epsom salts and sea salt into the water, letting it melt, and soaking in it. This will cleanse your aura. Also, Epsom salts are good for your body. They will take care of muscle aches, and they will also pull toxins from your pores. And so it's a quick detox you can do. If I really loved my tub, I used to have an apartment where I really loved my tub, and I took a salt bath every week. I do not love my tub. I can take a salt bath, but it's not so comfortable, so I don't do it every week. But if I feel like I really need a salt bath, I have at times, especially if it was super important, I have put salt in a bowl and poured warm water in that bowl and got in the shower and dunked it on my head. I've done that. If you're gonna take a salt bath, and I do take salt baths sometimes, but if you're gonna take a salt bath, dunk your head. If you're not gonna dunk your head, do not take a salt bath. If you don't want to mess up your hair, don't take a salt bath, because if you cleanse yourself up to your neck, you are basically jacking your whole crown chakra and third eye up. You are letting only that part get cleansed and leaving all this uncleansed. So that will create a severe imbalance, and so you don't want to do that. Okay, there's also, you can look up protective herbs, and you can look up herbs that are for happiness or for joy, and you can add those to your baths. You can also take a pot and boil herbs in the pot, and then pour that water into the tub. That's another way to create a spiritual bath. So it doesn't always have to be about protection. It can be about positivity. It could be about comfort. It could be about healing. If you are in pain, if you have a physical ailment, you can speed along healing. You can give yourself some TLC by using something like herbs. And it's very easy to find out what herbs you can use. Just look online, Google herbs for healing, herbs for protection, herbs for peace of mind. There's so much on the internet, and really there's not a lot of bad information there. You might find repetitive information where people have copied from another site and it's all very similar information, but I don't often find information that is totally inaccurate and dangerous or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that. Also know that your intuition is always there and wants to tell you what's good and what's not good for you. Just because something's not right or good for you doesn't mean it's bad. Just means that it does not align with you as a person. We're all different kind of people. We all receive energy in different ways. So it is okay for you to say, that just doesn't feel right to me. Move on to something else that does feel right. Don't spend so much time on worrying about why does that not feel right to me. Does that make it bad? Does that make it negative? Be careful of fear controlling your journey. Smudging. So sage, burning sage to cleanse the area of not just negative energy, but also stagnant energy. So it's good to cleanse your home at least. Some people can do a month. Some people do a week. I do about a week. Once a week I smudge. I'm also working with a lot of beings, and because I'm doing that, I am more susceptible to other energies trying to come in. And so it's important for me in my life to have that frequency. You might not need that kind of frequency. When you smudge with sage, make sure that you understand that sage cleanses, it clears, it removes, it chases stuff out. And so it does not instill protection in the home. That's not its purpose. Its purpose is to clear. And so if you leave a void there, then that's going to be very easily refilled with whatever comes first, right? So you do need to follow up with some positive energy. Now you can do thoughts. I mean, you can speak out loud and say, this is a place of peace. This is a place of love. This is a place of light. Only bright spirits are allowed here. Only those with permission from the divine are allowed here. Or you call your own terms. No spirits are allowed in this home. This energy is clear. This is my sacred space, and I do not welcome any spiritual beings into my home. And the good spiritual beings are going to listen to you. They're not going to come in. And those who won't listen to you, you should have protection to block that energy. Some of you, whether you're spiritual or not, are going to have issues with negative entities, dark spirits, and negative energy because of who you are, and just that you are vulnerable to certain energies. And so even if you don't believe in a higher power, the premise behind cleansing is still important. So it's not really just for spiritual people. You can believe in yourself, and you can believe that you have an energy field, and you can believe that energy field needs to be maintained, and you can believe that energy flows, and it can flow in your house. You could have a visitor that was toxic, or maybe it was just a good friend who was going through a really hard time and cried a lot and purged a lot of energy. That just because your friend was not up to their par, to their normal self or positive, doesn't mean they're bad people. But they're gonna leave energy. They're gonna leave residue, just like dust. You know, you gotta clean. You gotta clean. So think the same of your home and of your body, that you need to attend to your energetic body as much as you do your physical body. And if you're not tending to your physical body as much as you would normally do, or, you know, not judging, if you don't have good hygiene, it can affect your spiritual body as well. So keep that in mind as well. You can have stagnant energy all over you because your hygiene is not good. So physical hygiene and spiritual hygiene go hand in hand. Protection incenses. So there's a lot of them. There are a lot of protective incenses. I'm just going over a few. So dragon's blood is, of course, not dragon's blood. It is a tree resin. It is a very protective incense. Very protective. Palo Santo. Palo Santo is from a tree. The tree has to die before this can be ready to be used. It smells good even before you burn it. And all you do, like, this is a piece. This stuff is really good. I would love to go to a bonfire and drop a couple of sticks of this in a bonfire, and like some frankincense resin, and oh, how much fun would that be? So yeah, that's it. You just burn it. So Palo Santo is highly spiritual. It's it vibrates at a very high level. I'd say that dragon's blood is way more earthly and grounding. But yeah, that's another protection incense. Frankincense and myrrh, separate, together, it's all good. It's all good. Those are two very protective incenses, and are also very healing and positive. Frankincense is also a really good mood elevator, and it has been scientifically proven that it raises your mood, it improves your mood, it can be an antidepressant. Copal incense, you can get, it's also a resin, and you can get it in incense form. It's very, very smoky. And you can also get it in like a little tar ball. Patchouli. Patchouli is not just for hippies. If you use patchouli, just know it's very strong. And there is patchouli incense, and there's patchouli oil. Patchouli incense is very beautiful. I love it so much. Patchouli oil is very strong, so I would use it sparingly. Cedar. Cedar is also a very good incense if you can get it. Cedar incense, cedar oil, and burn cedar. Cedar is a very protective incense as well, scent as well. The earth has provided us with many things for us to help ourselves on our path, and we only need to look. And on that note, nature. Go out in nature. You can sit out in nature and have an aura cleansing naturally, because there are nature spirits that will be there to assist you. And just being in nature itself, the trees themselves generate positive energy, healing energy. The plants, the earth is naturally grounding. So taking your shoes off and standing in the grass is a natural grounding that you can do. There's also been some studies done about how that can reset your bioenergy field. And yeah, so when you take a nature walk, I don't know if you've noticed, when you come home from a hike or something like that, you feel good, you feel better. There's a reason for that. It's energetic, it's real. It's not just because you walked around, it's because you are interacting with nature. Nature is a great healer. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is the top dog, basically. He is the general, and he is a very protective angel, and you can call on him for help at any time. For example, I was staying with a friend, and I worked nights. I closed this restaurant, so I would get home. We wouldn't close the restaurant until like 12. I would catch the bus, and there was a half a mile stretch of country road that had no street lights, and it was like really dark, and both sides were field. So there were no homes on either side of the street. And so every night I would say, Archangel Michael, please protect me. And cars would go by and I would be like, please don't stop. Please don't stop. Like, it was a very temporary situation for me. And I just kept asking Archangel Michael every night to protect me. One night I'm walking, I'm in the middle of the stretch. Car goes by, he slows down. Car slows down. I'm like, please, please don't back up. Please don't stop. And car backed up and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm in trouble. And then I saw this bright blue flash of light. It was a cop. It was a cop. He pulled over, got out of the car and said, you shouldn't be walking on this street by yourself. And I explained to him, I don't want to. I really don't want to. I don't have a choice. It's where I'm staying is right here. It's just maybe a few blocks away now. So he had me get in the back seat of his car and he drove me the rest of the way home. And I said to him, you know, I pray to Archangel Michael every night to make sure that I'm okay. And he did not say a word. He did not say a word. And he dropped me off. He opened the car. I thanked him. And he did not say a word. He just got back in the car and drove off. And when people talk about angel encounters, will say stuff like that. Like that they say very few words. That was a sign to me, I need to fucking move. Excuse my language, but I got to go. Because if Archangel Michael came through a police officer to protect me and to send that message that I shouldn't be walking down that street, that tells me I am probably stretching my protection pretty thin. And I need to not be there. And it ended up that I was not there for much longer. So just sharing that to explain to you the power of Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael can also sever cords. So there aren't really any healthy cords, but cords are energetic cords that are attached to other people. If you get in a fight with somebody, it creates a cord. That energy is consistently draining your energy, draining the other person. If somebody is an energy vampire, they will be siphoning your energy through this cord. If you are in a relationship with somebody and you guys have been having a really tough time, you guys are creating energetic cords that are not doing good for your relationship. So you can call on Archangel Michael to cut those cords. And when cords are cut between people, then you have a kind of a fresh start. You're able to interact together without that lingering negative energy. So it's really good to call on Archangel Michael, not only for protection, but also to cut energetic cords. That's a form of psychic hygiene. Archangel Michael's energy is blue, and so, you know, having that car back up and the bright flash of blue was all significant and symbolic to me of Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is also known to show up as a police officer, as a paramedic, as a mechanic, even. So really interesting. We can go for a long time talking about angels. I'm just going to say one more thing about Archangel Michael. How can he be in so many places at the same time? How can any spiritual being be in so many places at the same time? So this is how it's explained to me. Imagine a circle, and the spiritual being is standing in the middle of it. And that circle around them is time. So they exist outside of time. Time is an illusion. It's a construct of our earthly physical world. It is a needed construct, I believe. When they say time is an illusion, that's what they mean. Because when you go to the higher realms, time is just not the same. I'm not sure if time exists, but it's not the same as it is in other spiritual realms. It's just a construct here. So spiritual beings are not bothered by time. And so they can dip in and out of time to wherever each person is, and it's not a wear on them. So like you can't wear out an angel. You can make an angel sad by not doing what you're supposed to do. You can make your guardian angel. You can make a guide pissed off. You could really piss off a guide. Angels don't get pissed off. They just feel sad for you because they want you to be happy. Guides are a little bit more frustrated. They can get angry. Anyways, I'm going off topic here. Anyways, spiritual beings, they can also bilocate, like trilocate, 1 million locate. It's just different. And so they can separate themselves in so many different ways and be working all at the same time. In our world, seems like simultaneously. In their world, it's just different. And I don't have all the secrets of the universe, so that's the only little piece of information I got about time, and like how can we have synchronicities and things like that. And it is because of their relationship with the illusion of time that we consider a reality. Okay, went off topic there for a minute. Let's go to the great goddess Bridget. Bridget has a very special place in my heart. She helped me when I messed up really bad. The thing that I fear the most is not being in the light of the divine, not having assistance from my spiritual friends, my divine team, because I messed up so bad and I went down so dark that I am not able to be found or seen by them. That is real. Bridget was able to do something that other beings could not do. Bridget is the equivalent of Archangel Michael. She is a very protective goddess, but she's also the goddess of healers, poets, smiths. She's a goddess of inspiration, creativity. She's a strong protector of women and children. And in Ireland, Scotland, and Western Europe, when Catholicism came and they tried to convert the pagans, they would not let go of Bridget. They would not let go of Bridget. And the Catholics had to canonize Bridget into a saint. So they sainted her and made her Saint Bridget. And that is how they were able to convert these people, by allowing them to keep Bridget. They were serious. They were not leaving Bridget behind. And so Bridget is very special in that way, that she was a goddess that survived Catholicism and was embraced by Catholicism because of the will of the people. She can remove darkness from your aura. She can uncloak you if you were cloaked in darkness. Now let's hope that you never have a situation where you're having those issues. But if you are in a deep, dark situation, she is a good one to call upon to assist you, to get you light enough to save yourself and help yourself. And when I say that, I'm not talking about you're kidnapped and you can't get away. I'm talking about you've been fucking up and you are now in this position where you feel like you cannot uplift yourself enough to help yourself. She is a really good goddess for that. Blessings to the great goddess Bridget. Okay, so shielding. Moving on to shielding. I am moved whenever I talk about Bridget. She's very dear to my heart. So shielding can be done in many different ways. So for me, one symbol that I use for protection is a pentagram. Pentagram is a 5-pointed star. Pentacle is when that 5-pointed star has a circle around it, or when it's a actual plaque or something with the circle around it. And I use that for protection. Now, the pentagram is not a devil worshipping symbol. The pentagram has been around for a very, very long time, longer than Christianity and longer than devil worshipping. Pentagram is basically earth, air, fire, water. Those are the points, and the last point being spirit. And so it's a very, it's total in its energy. It's just encompasses everything, and it's very protective. And so I have a shield that I call up, and I see those pentagrams come up. They come in front of me and behind me and to my left and my right, and I am protected. I will also draw the pentagram in the air. Been doing it for years, so I know how to do it. If that's not your path, you don't have to. You can visualize a cross. If the cross is something that is protective to you, that'll work. If there's another symbol, if there's a rune, any kind of symbol that you consider protective, most times it will work in a shield because that's what you believe. Some things are not malleable. Like, you can't make a symbol something that it's not. But generally speaking, if for example, another shield is calling knights in shining armor. And I say shields up, and these knights come up and they're surrounding me. And sometimes I can like almost hear the chink of their armor when they hit that level where they stand at attention. Chink. That's like if I need like some serious protection. There's also, you can cloak yourself in white light. You can have a rainbow cloak. That's fun. I really like the rainbow cloak because I feel like it's total. It has everything in it, and it's not as aggressive as a pentagram shield. Pentagram shield is when you need serious protection. You want people to leave you alone because you are not in a safe space, or you've just been having some really weird days. I live in the city, and sometimes I notice a theme of running into a lot of unwell people. And I'll be like, okay, I don't know what's up with the energy in the city right now, but I need to be putting on my pentagram shield right now. You can also use Bridget, the great goddess Bridget. You can use her, and it's the saying is Bridget in front of me, Bridget behind me, Bridget to my left, Bridget to my right, Bridget to protect me, Bridget to keep me safe. And again, blue light is also good for protection. You can imagine yourself in a bubble of light, and that bubble of light is protecting your personal space. So that's another good one. Okay, and here's my favorite part. Yay, crystals. So let me just show you this big hunk. Okay, that is a tourmalinated quartz with a smoky quartz inside of it. Okay, so tourmaline, black tourmaline is super protective. Black tourmaline is good for psychic attack. If somebody is messing with you, especially like a family member or work-wise, where they're purposely messing with you, like there's no way to read it any other way that person has it out for me. They're fucking with me. You can use black tourmaline to protect yourself. It will absorb negative energy. It will absorb psychic attack. The only thing about tourmaline is that you need to cleanse it often, because if you don't, it absorbs and then it just becomes icky, and then it's just generating the negative energy that it has absorbed. Tourmaline is super powerful, but it needs to be cleansed often. If you are not having a big issue, then it won't need to be cleansed as often. keeping it in a house plant is a great way to have tourmaline and have it continuously generate protective energy without ever needing to be cleansed, because it is being cleansed by the nature, by its relationship of the earth and the plant. It just generates. If you are on a spiritual path, black tourmaline is something you should definitely invest in. Black tourmaline is not always cheap. You can get a tumbled stone though. Sometimes you might have to pay $8 for a tumbled stone, which is a lot in the realm of stones, of little tumbled stones. But black tourmaline is worth it. It's worth it. You can tell black tourmaline is black tourmaline normally because it'll have little cracks in it. And so that's how you know it's not some other black stone. Smoky Quartz. Smoky Quartz. So this is called a phantom. And that's when a crystal grows inside of another crystal. So in this case, the Smoky Quartz has grown into the, is in the quartz, and the quartz grew over it, the clear quartz, and black tourmaline. So those are all pieces of black tourmaline in there. So Smoky Quartz acts as a filter. If you consider it like a spiritual filter, like a water filter would filter water, it filters air, it filters energy. And so that is also very a very good stone to have. And also, you know, most protective stones do need to be cleansed regularly. Let's see, I almost don't want to put this down. This is one of my favorite pieces. Let's see. Onyx is also a good protective stone. Obsidian is. Fluorite. Fluorite brings order to chaos and also gets rid of negative energy. So it's not directly protective, but it does help keep your energy clear. I'm sorry, I'm in the city, so fire trucks going by, just don't pay attention to that. Let's see what else. Here's a special one, which is not common. This is not common, but this is black kyanite. I love me some kyanite. So kyanite normally comes blue, but this is black kyanite. And it is also very protective. It's also a chakra cleanser. So it can cleanse all your chakras and clear them. It clears, not cleanses. It clears chakras. It also can clear other stones. So if you are into gritting is when you take crystals and you put them in the corners of your home to create a sphere of energy with certain purpose. If you put blue kyanite or black kyanite in those piles, it will keep those rocks clear and clean. Pyrite, also known as fool's gold. Pyrite gets rid of negative energy. It deflects negative energy. Things that are sparkly, and let me stop with the crystals real quick. Sparkles deflect negative energy. If you like sparkles, I love sparkles. Like my nails are sparkly, happy. There's a reason I love sparkles, and it is because it deflects negative energy. Anything that catches light and bounces light out is really good for protection. And positivity. Sometimes positivity itself can be its own protection to you. Anyways, pyrite is very protective. Clear crystal quartz. So this is a piece of quartz. This is actually called a self-healer because on the back side where the root is, it has crystals growing out of it, and that means the crystal over years and years and years it chose to heal this area, and those are called self-healers. So crystal quartz, this is interesting because you can program crystal quartz. You can program quartz to have a purpose. So you can have a quartz crystal and program it for protection. you can program it for a lot of different things. Clarity, its natural state, its natural energy is for clarity. Quartz is so many things. There's different, like I said, self-healer. There's so many things about quartz. Like if it has a phantom in it, that means something. If one of the faces has little triangles on it, it's called a record keeper. And a record keeper is has past life information recorded into crystal. So quartz is a very huge subject. But on this, as far as psychic hygiene is concerned, crystal quartz is very helpful for keeping clarity of mind, positive energy generator, and programming for protection. So wearing a quartz will help you out with that. Oh, lastly, tiger's eye. Okay, let me see if I can. Oh, it's such a pretty baby. Tiger's eye is also very protective and very grounding. It's a very grounding stone. This is tourmalinated quartz, meaning it's tourmaline and quartz together. Hematite. Hematite is something that I did not grab. I have it somewhere, but I didn't grab it. So hematite is a grounding stone and a protection stone. It will absorb negative energy and create positive energy. So it is like, it just generates, it transmutes energy basically into positive energy. So it'll absorb and release the energy. So it doesn't get overloaded because it is sending it back out. Whereas tourmaline just absorbs and absorbs and absorbs until it gets overloaded. So hematite is also, like I said, very grounding. I don't know of any black stones that are not protective. So any black stone that you are drawn to can be used for protection. And there are other stones that are for protection as well. Amethyst is a spiritual protective stone. Not as hardcore as tourmaline or smoky quartz or onyx, obsidian, but it can have its protective qualities. It also transmutes energy, and it's also good for sobriety. It's good for encouraging spirituality and your spiritual self to emerge and be led by your spiritual self. Chimes and singing bowls, we talked about that already. They clear energy, they can clear your chakras. You can walk around your house. So let's talk about let's talk about the energy in your house. So clutter attracts negative energy. So I don't know about you, but I have a problem with clutter. And there's always a couple of cluttered spaces, meaning that I clear that space and clutter comes back to it. And I clear that space and clutter comes back to it. You just got to keep clearing the space. Think about it as clearing the flow of energy in your life. And this just came to me. Mirrors. Hold on. Do not sleep with a mirror facing your bed. Do not. So you, Feng Shui believes that that is really bad. It's really bad. It's also, it's just not good. It's not good. Sorry, my nose is just a little sniffly. Mirrors. So mirrors can be portals. And so when you sleep, that is your most vulnerable time, and sleeping and facing a mirror can drain your energy, especially if there's anything negative in that portal. Not all mirrors are active portals, so don't think like you're in the bathroom and you're looking in the mirror and there's a bunch of demons looking back at you. It's not like that, but the late hours and the time when everybody's sleeping, those hours at night are very, the veil is very thin. And so those who work at night tend to be tend to have weird things happen, because they're up when mostly everybody else is sleeping. When things get quiet, it just, I don't know, it just makes the veil more noticeable, more spirits roam. Okay, there's not so much energy to confuse them with. So mirrors, if you have a mirror that is facing your bed and you can't get rid of it, this is gonna sound weird. I'm weird, and I'll just let you know that right now. So on this channel, I might say some stuff that sounds really wacky to you. That's okay. You can just pass that information, pass by that, and just brush it off. But if you want to know how to protect a mirror, you can take a piece of paper and write on it, like, do not enter, no entry, the symbol, the cross, the strike in it, you know, do not enter, stop sign, something like that, and you can tape it facing inwards. So you're looking at the mirror, and if you could see this piece of paper, it would be facing you, and you tape it to the back of the mirror, and that will essentially protect that mirror, so that you could sleep hopefully peacefully with a mirror facing your bed. Like if you have a mirrored closet and your doors are mirrors and you can't move your bed, that's a good way to get around it. In Feng Shui, you probably would want to hang a crystal near those mirrors by your bed, but in Feng Shui they'd be like, just move your bed somewhere, anywhere. Like if you could see your feet in the mirror, that's one thing, but if you can see your body in the bed, that's not good. That's just not good. So that's that. Let me take a minute and think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. We're talking about psychic hygiene. I don't know if I showed you, this is what Palo Santo looks like before it's burned. It's very light, very light. It's not very expensive. I encourage you to find your metaphysical shops and not buy things off of eBay. For one thing, we want to support our metaphysical shops because they are more likely to have received these things from sources that are positive. And so we want to support them. As the metaphysical goes mainstream, which it is doing, you're gonna see places like Target selling selenite, you know, selling sage, selling stones and things. Don't buy from them. I'm not saying Target's evil. I'm just saying the metaphysical shops have been around for a long time, and they have to pay rent, and they have to be they have to profit, and we could see metaphysical shops closing if we don't continue to support them. And I worked in a metaphysical shop, so just know people actually go to rock and crystal shows. They go and they hand pick crystals. They are touching the things that they are getting for you to then buy. I would have never been able to afford this if I hadn't gotten it from a crystal show. So it was very inexpensive for what it is. And you want to support small businesses that are bringing you these spiritual items, and it's easier to trust them for what they bring you. Now, if there's anything that makes you feel icky, gross, nasty, when you touch a crystal, it's probably very dirty. It hasn't been cleansed. There are no bad crystals. I've rescued crystals that felt like that and cleansed them and buried them in a house plant for a while, and then I took them out and they were very happy. If you start working with crystals, you will start talking like me. And you will start saying, this crystal's so happy. Anyways, so I think that is for now. Yeah, I took notes and I think I covered everything. And oh, we're almost an hour in, so that's a good cue to that's a good stopping point right there. Essential oils, if you're using a diffuser, you can burn cedar, patchouli, frankincense, myrrh. Rose are good protective essences, oils, essential oils. And if you for some reason can't burn sage, there's sage oil that you can put in a diffuser and clear the space in your home, and fill it with protective energy with like patchouli. And remember, when you smudge your house, open your windows, open your door. You want things to be able to get out. Now for me, I can't have my door wide open while I'm smudging because I will smoke up the whole first floor. However, when I've smudged and I have all the windows open, there is a certain point where I open the front door. I open it momentarily. I follow up with protective incenses and a nice sweet positive incense. So sometimes I'll use jasmine, sometimes I'll use rose. I use frankincense, I use dragon's blood to instill protection into the void that the sage has created. And this instills protection into the home and peace and healing and love with the rose. And then sandalwood is also more than just protective. It has other properties. So, you know, you can get all sorts of crazy with it and how you want to combine things. Also remember, we have many past lives. If you're a spiritual person today, you probably were a spiritual person a number of times in your past lives. And so you have knowledge that you just have to remember. So it's not always about learning, it's about remembering. So trust your intuition to guide you. When you're drawn to something, trust that and check it out and see what you want to do with it. And you can always, like, sometimes your guides will talk to you, and they'll talk to you about basically you might get a thought that dumps into your head and it's a suggestion and you'd be like, I wonder if that's true, and just Google it. And a lot of times you get those messages and then you Google it and you're like, oh, that is exactly true. Or sometimes it comes right from you, from your inner knowing, from your intuition, and you Google it and you're like, that is so right. That's exactly what that's for. So sometimes you might be like, what do I need or what should I use? And you will get that answer intuitively. So trust your intuition, trust your gut. It will not steer you wrong. There's a difference between fear and caution. Okay? So you can be cautious and not fearful. So be cautious, but not fearful. Okay? That's about it. We're all done. Yeah, we're almost right at an hour on the dot. Did not expect this to be such a long video, but if you stayed and hung in there with me, thank you. Please subscribe to my channel and give it a like. Share it with your friends if you have friends you think can use this valuable information. I hope there was valuable information for you here, and love and light to you all and brightest blessings. Mwah. Bye.